In the Fancy Pants Adventure series, the main weapon that Fancy Pants Man uses for combat is a pencil sword. The pencil does get swapped out for a pen in the latest game, Super Fancy Pants Adventures, but I'm not going to focus on the pen, but I figured I should bring it up. Now that I mentioned the weapons that he uses, I can ask the question of, when was the first time Fancy Pants Man used his pencil as a weapon? To answer this, I want to start from the beginning with World 1, which was released on March 14, 2006. If you remember correctly, Fancy Pants Man never uses his pencil in this game and jumps on enemies to kill them. World 1 is very basic in almost every aspect, so it makes sense that there's no weapon yet. Fast forward to 2 years later on January 9, 2008, World 2 was released. The first thing we see that kicks off the story is Fancy Pants Man holding on to the pencil, using it as a golf club to introduce us to the shell golf. We never see him use it in the game after this first time. Although each level does have a golf section, Fancy Pants Man goes on to use his feet to kick the shell into each hole. This does introduce fans to the pencil as an object in the world, but not as we would later know it as. This pencil doesn't have any lore to it either, and it's just very basic. About 3 years later, Fancy Pants for console would come out on April 20th, 2011. Finally, we would be able to get the pencil and use it for combat. The pencil is located in a sunken ship, and he gets it after switching it out for a bag of sand. Take note that I'm using the console version here, not the Flash version, since the Flash version of World 3 would come out a year later in 2012. I don't care too much to go over the moveset of the pencil in this video, but just know that the pencil really opens up movement in the games and makes fighting a bit more fun. Console World 3 would also let you go into the wardrobe and change the way it looks, but it still functions the same. I already mentioned Super a tiny bit, so let's skip to World 1 Remix. We get some lore to the pencil, with it being what Brad uses to draw the game, and throughout the game, the pencil is changing up some levels. After fighting the pencil as a boss, it drops the pencil on completion. Knowing about the remix doesn't really help us here to answer the question, but I figured I'd mention it anyway. After knowing these few things, we still can't answer the original question yet. We can't answer World 2 because he doesn't use it as a weapon and only as a golf club. We could answer the World 3 console version because that's the first official game where we see him use the pencil as a weapon, but it's not that simple. The honor is actually in a completely different game not in this series called Newgrounds Rumble. It is a platform fighter of many Newgrounds characters, which was released on May 29, 2007. The game even won the Newgrounds Tank Award for Best Game of 2007, which World 2 would win the next year. Fancy Pants Man was originally going to be in the base game, but Brad was making the sprites for him and just couldn't finish it in time as he was working on World 2 at the time. On the 1-year anniversary of the Newgrounds Rumble's release, Fancy Pants Man was added as a fighter on May 30th, 2008. This date was only a few months after World 2 had come out and years before World 3. If the original plan had been executed, then we would have seen him use the pencil for the first time in 2007, before World 2 came out. I do think this timeline is a lot better since it was made for a special anniversary for the game, and we were introduced to the pencil in an actual Fancy Pants game first. So the answer is clear now. The first time Fancy Pants Man uses his pencil in any capacity is in World 2, but the first time he used it as a weapon was only a few months later in Newgrounds Rumble. I would like to thank this Twitter thread from Newgrounds Rumble history that I used for this video, because I was not someone who ever played this game. Hope you enjoyed this video about Fancy Pants Man. I know it was a little bit short.